My last two videos were about this current situation of lockdown and the horrendous situation that we're in. The first one was about vulnerability and accepting that we're all vulnerable and sharing that with yourself and sharing that with others. So that was 2 videos ago. The last video was with regards to take a long-term focus and viewpoint on everything you're doing at the moment in terms of your development and your future-proofing yourselves and how you're going to keep yourself relevant and value. Don't make short-term, quick snap decisions and judgments on things that you may regret in the future. This video is just purely and simply is thinking about my diary and my year planner. Well, and my Google Calendar, it was packed with stuff. There was all sorts of stuff in my diaries and year planner. Guess where all that went? It's gone out the window. So I now need to accept this potentially could now be the new normal. I was having a conversation with a sales director of quite a large organisation who's got a field-based team. And they're in the pharmaceutical industry and they're responsible for going out to the NHS hospitals and private hospitals and to doctor surgeries, and they are their customers. And I said, how's your team getting on? He says, well, frankly, they're really struggling because they want to be out there. They want to be communicating and doing things and meeting people and doing all the face-to-face. And so we had a sort of conversation because I sort of then said, well, when are they going to be able to do that again? And he says, well, I don't really know. And I suppose that could be the same with a lot of us in terms of our working environments. Will they go back to what they used to be? We don't know. So this is why I'm saying we now need to perhaps think about now is the new normal. And I noticed this last year with working with some other different sales teams that I worked with who are field-based and out and about. Obviously, it's quite an expensive activity having people doing that in a business. But the salespeople will often say to me, yeah, but face-to-face contact is always so much better. You have better conversations. Yeah, I totally get that. And you're preaching to the converted. But you haven't got any option. You've got to think about new ways of communicating. And it's a tough one. I don't know if you've been watching Have I Got News For You? Recently, the last 2 episodes or 3 episodes. Now, I love that programme and I've always loved it for many, many years. I just love the humour and it just makes me laugh. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. But they're now doing it remotely and it just doesn't work. So they've got to sit down and think, what's another way of doing this? How can we make it work, working remotely? And it's a big challenge that obviously a lot of television companies are going to have. And the same with businesses. A lot of accountants are going to start thinking, why do we need all these expensive offices? How can we cut costs by having people still working at home once all this is potentially and hopefully finished? And it's thinking about, yeah, my industry in terms of conferences, training course and other seminars and events. We've got to develop and change. Not just with technological ways of doing it and IT and the Zoom and all the other things that we've sort of got onto, but how we're actually physically going to change our working. So please, we need to now accept, now could be the new normal. You need to think perhaps a bit more entrepreneurial. You need to think a bit more creative. Look at new ideas, new ways of communicating, especially with your customers and your clients, and also with prospecting. It can sometimes, for a lot of salespeople, be quite challenging, having to be proactive where people don't really necessarily want you to be. So please sit down, accept what has happened, think about how you're going to develop and change and come up with new ideas. Don't hanker to the past and what we used to be able to do. That's not really going to get us anywhere. Accept now is potentially the new normal.